Okay. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you're coming from, and welcome to APOLAN's members meeting. I'm Gayla Arundel, and it is my honor to again be serving as APOLAN's chair of the board. On our screen now is the agenda for today's meeting. The goal of today's meeting is to update APOLAN members on our progress throughout 2024. So you'll see, okay, next slide here. This is just our antitrust and no solicitation policy and legal disclaimer. So before we begin introductions, I would like to call your attention to APOLAN's antitrust and no solicitation policy and legal disclaimer. Please take a moment to review them now. I'm not going to read it through, but you can read it on your own and, make sure that we're all going to make sure that we stick to these rules. So next, I'm going to review. It's my pleasure today to highlight APOLAN's recent work and introduce key individuals who made it all happen in 2023. Last year, APOLAN refined and redefined our mission as part of a comprehensive strategic planning process. I'll discuss in greater detail momentarily, but I wanted to spend some time kind of going through what these missions are. So APOLAN's updated mission is to accelerate the adoption and evolution of fiber optic local access networks for enterprises. Our vision is to be the leading global community for the fiber optical local access network industry and empower our members' success. We pursue these efforts with several core values: integrity, inclusiveness, expertise, leadership, and innovation. So from here, you'll see some of our member logos. APOLAN's membership continues to grow, and this slide shows the current members helping to drive APOLAN's membership mission. I would let our membership committee chair provide additional details about our membership efforts in his report. But you'll see from this slide, we have, platinum and founding. We have our gold, silver, bronze, as well as our associate members. So we're fortunate to have a great leadership group that has worked together to continue APOLAN's evolution. My fellow board members include Alan Birch from Quipsys, Jim Connor from Nokia, Brian Hardy from IT Connect, Karen Leos from Telabs, Kate Loomis from Superior Essex Communications, and Christopher Brown from AECOM. I am honored to serve on the board alongside such talented, passionate professionals. So APOLAN's work could not happen without the volunteers who make up the various committees. I would like to thank the following individuals who have chaired APOLAN committees: Alan Birch, who's the chair of our membership committee, Matt Miller and Chad Hines, chair and vice chair of our technology committee, Drew Dethridge, chair of our marketing committee, Stefan Heldens, chair of our European committee, Emma Fernandez and Miguel Angel Ochoa, chair and vice chair of our Caribbean and Latin America committee, and Maupon He and Omar Amar, chair and vice chair of our new global task force. We will hear from each of them shortly when they give their committee updates. Our work on the board is carried out by a professional staff. Since October 2021, APOLAN has retained the association expertise of Forius Association Management Services. Our staff has been instrumental in helping us incorporate association best practices and carrying out the day-to-day work necessary to ensure APOLAN's success. Thank you to our Executive Director, Brianne Scott, and Administrative Coordinator, Melissa Thomas. And I can't say thank you enough, to be honest. So thank you again to our committee chairs and committee members for your work this past year. Now I'd like to ask the board director and treasurer, Chris Brown, to provide a brief update on the financial health of APOLAN.
Thank you, Gayla. I'll make this relatively quick. It's been a pretty straightforward financial year for APOLAN. Set the budget at the beginning of the year with an opening balance of $62,469 and change. We've had a total period revenue of $104,800 and change. That number reflects some carryover dues revenue from the previous year. So it's a little bit actually higher than anticipated for the year. But we're working with our accounting firm to kind of be able to separate those financial dues revenues out by year instead of date of receipt. So in the next 6 months, the beginning of 2025, we'll be able to separate those revenues. We've had a total period expenses of $47,425, leaving us with an ending balance at mid-year of $119,000. We set our budget, like I said, at the beginning of the year based on anticipated revenues for the year. So far, we're tracking just under budget for the first 6 months of 2024, which means we're solidly in the black and looking really good. But we don't have any major unexpected or outstanding expenses coming in the second half. So we anticipate coming in well in the black for the financial year. But as of mid-year, we're running at about 97% expense to budget, which puts us solidly in the black and looking good for the next 6 months.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. That looks good. Now I'd like to introduce Karen Leos. Earlier this year, APOLAN's board went through a transition and had a mid-year election. Karen was elected to serve as APOLAN's new chair-elect and will become the chair of the board in 2025. I will now turn it over to Karen for an update on APOLAN's 2024 accomplishments.
Thank you, Gayla, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve as the chair-elect, and I'm looking forward to the future. So I get the opportunity today to review some of the 2024 achievements. First, as we walk through this, I want you to think back to what Gayla said on our mission, vision, and what we're trying to accomplish here. As part of the review of these things earlier this year, the team decided that we really needed to focus in on some new personas. So a lot of these activities support that strategic plan by focusing on influencers and key participants in the decision-making process to expand the training and education and awareness of our technologies by reaching out to architects, engineers, consultants, and even end users. So you'll see that the events that have been planned focus in on supporting those areas. And many of the events that we were attending, we continued, but also expanded that presence. And then I'll be happy to talk about some of the expanded global reach that Gayla mentioned earlier. So let's talk a little bit about the collaborations. For many years, we have been delivering a masterclass through Bixby that is eligible for continuing education credits, and we continue to do so. So we did that earlier this year, and then we'll be participating as well in Bixby Fall. So that is a great way for us to expand our word. And I'm happy to report that class continues to have very consistent and solid engagement. In addition to that, we had our first AIA certified classes that were delivered earlier this year. And I put a screenshot for you of the AIA course catalog. You'll notice there's a call out where there is an online webinar that's available. So that supports the strategic plan by offering continuing education credits to AIA members. In addition to that, we expanded some of our on-site presence training through I think it was last month, a presentation that was delivered through NECA, where we got to go over the fundamentals of passive optical LAN to a new audience that was very engaged. And this year we began delivering our first passive optical LAN, optical LAN overviews through the ICT Summit in Columbia. And you will also notice if you visit the APOLAN website that we have another one of those coming up soon, delivered in Spanish. In addition to those types of events, APOLAN has hosted many webinars this year. I encourage you, if you are not following APOLAN on LinkedIn, to do so and to also engage and review the upcoming webinars and opportunities to learn and expand the word on the APOLAN website. These give a wonderful overview, and there was great participation on how optical LAN is good for the industry, your company, and professional growth. You'll also see that the marketing team has done some nice web snippets from some of the people that you're seeing here on how APOLAN has impacted their company in their personal development. So these webinars are recorded, and it's a great way to point other third parties over to a very neutral perspective on how our technologies are impacting the industry. Then lastly, I am very excited to announce the Global Task Force development. We have gone global, you guys, and I think that this is wonderful. If you will recall, APOLAN commissions a study from BizRIA every 2 years that is available for download on the APOLAN website for APOLAN members. And one of the things that we see through that report is that there is rapid adoption in the Asia Pacific region. So the addition of Mao Ping and his leadership and knowledge and experience to this global task force is extremely important, and it brings to us very important and relevant insights from that geography relative to the applications. So looking ahead, it's really important to continue to have that optical LAN dialogue. This team and the expertise there is a trusted source of information to send potential customers or people who are new to the technology. It is our job to continue to stay on top of the latest trends and spread that awareness through thought leadership. And then the team, you're going to see throughout the presentations on how we are continuing to execute on the strategic plan. At the executive board level, we're also looking at how to expand those thoughtful strategic alliances with other industry associations and create new avenues to reach those key influencers. And then lastly, it's our responsibility to make sure that we are using our resources well. And you can see from Chris's report that we are, and to empower and continue to grow our expert volunteer base, because that's what really makes the difference. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to you, Gayla.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so APOLAN's committee's chairs will now provide you with updates on the great work they've been doing. To begin, please welcome Emma Fernandez, chair of our Caribbean and Latin America Committee.
Thanks, Gaia. I would like to talk a little bit about the person that are working with us in this committee for CALA. First of all, Miguel Angel Ochoa, that is our vice chair. He also is now working directly with Big C for the Latin Big C committee, and this will help us a lot to have this exposure in the Big C event. We already have his support to have a slot in the main presentation and in some other areas, but right now he has being announced as the Big C chair for whole Latin America. And then we have Armando Sentis for Furukawa. He is a new member replacing Eduardo Tanaka. We have Gustavo Moris from Nokia, Paul Wenstrup, that is our advisor, and Pedro Lerma for Corby. We have been working together to have activities in Latin America to spread the word of Paul. One of the major things that we have done is to participate in this event from Big C. We had this year two main events, one in Mexico, that was in April, another in Colombia in May, where we have between these two events more than 1,000 assistants to this event. We have in the Mexico one session to present Paul and use cases in the health sector. And in Colombia, we had a session to present Paul, and on the job is a hand session where all the persons in the workshop could participate actively in doing a design, testing the fibers, seeing the active equipment. It was a very good activity for the final customer and the integrators that was participating in that event to see the possibilities for Paul and to touch the equipment, okay? And after that, these two sessions in Colombia, we also are trying to have a separate session with AMERIC, that is an association in Mexico that works with companies that construct buildings to promote Paul in the construction sector, to have this solution since the beginning of the construction of the buildings. We have to work in a strategy to go for more integrants, go for more participants in the APOLAN CALA committee, and to have more subscription to APOLAN. In that case, we will work with AMERIC to see if some of the associated can help us and to promote Paul and join us in APOLAN. Another thing that we are doing is to have these webinars in Spanish. We already had the first one, and right now we are promoting the second webinar in Spanish is in September. You can join in the APOLAN webpage. And we also want in the future to have a formal training where the people that want to be certified by APOLAN could do it. It's something that we have to work more, but is the final goal to have this training. Thanks very much. And next, we will have a video for Stefan Helder for the European Committee.
Hello everyone, Stefan Helms from the European Committee. I'm giving you an update, not in person, but via this video message on the activities of the European APOLAN Committee. So in the last quarter, we have been discussing European regulation, more specifically the NIS2 regulation, which is important for what is called critical enterprises. So it's important for us to understand how optical LAN or an optical LAN solution can contribute to a more secure environment for these mission critical enterprises. So we discussed that in length during our committee meetings. Additionally, we had a discussion on hurdles that some of our members face when positioning optical LAN solution. So what type of prejudice or what type of concerns are put forward when positioning an optical LAN solution. So sometimes people say it's less secure, the powering is an issue, fiber is more fragile technology. So all types of rumors and arguments against optical LAN, and we try then to find the right arguments to debunk them and in fact convince our potential partners of the opposite. So we kind of brought these arguments to the table and working on a white paper to bundle our findings and to communicate those to the European Committee members on how to handle these concerns. And then we're still working on the and by the way, for these aspects and for these discussions, we also rely on the technical committee. Then we are still in progress on the white paper for mission critical networks. I think that resides still with the technical committee. So that is still in the making and or under construction. We have been discussing also in our European committee ways to provide technical training to partners and stakeholders, and to identify also in Europe which organizations can help us bringing these trainings to the right people. We have not really identified a solution there yet, but still work in progress. We have done an identification of the BICSI events for the European for the European region. That is, there is a BICSI event on 30th of August in Prague, but because of unavailability of committee members, we're not able to contribute for that, and then engaging with the secretary of BICSI in Europe to identify other opportunities for us to do our evangelization on optical LAN. And then finally, we are also hosting members from the Middle Eastern part of the world, so the Middle East can attend the European Committee members to see how we can host their concerns and make them part of the discussions we are having, while they are setting up maybe in future a dedicated Middle Eastern chapter of an APOLAN committee there. And then finally, one housekeeping remark. Magnus Bjelkeveld from Enersys has left the committee since he has left Enersys. So that is an update on our activities. That's all from my side. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so next we have Drew Dethridge from Crux, who is our marketing committee chair, and he'll give us an update from the marketing committee.
Hello, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. So the marketing committee has had a good year so far. We had a very successful webinar in the year, and we're actually working actively on producing a second webinar, as well as doing some work on the AIA presentation that we can present to architects. We're also working on expanding our sphere of influence, if you will, by encouraging our partner organizations to share content with APOLAN, and APOLAN will do the same in return. So we've got a pretty active group. Hopefully, we'll be able to recruit another couple of folks to the team, and things are moving along nicely, although not as quickly as we like, just because we're all busy. The big challenge we all face. And those are the big events we're working on. Again, the webinar for the second half of the year, getting the AI presentation updated, and being more proactive on cross-posting content from our member organizations. So short and sweet today.
Okay, thank you, Drew. And I think now we'll go over to Alan Birch from our membership committee chair and also one of our board members.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Kayla. All right. I am the chair of the membership committee. I'm joined by some fine folks who've been very helpful in our endeavors. Brian Hardy, IT Connect, Rich Hofstra, Nokia, Steve Land from Cortman, Marcia Mark from Telabs, Christophe Merlot, Nokia, as well as Paul Mills from DIRT. Of course, you can read the purpose of the committee is to retain and grow the membership, and obviously assist the board in doing so. Just want to give a couple updates on what we've seen so far this year and what the plans are going into next year. Next slide, please. Okay. So these are our kind of big events for 2024. Updated the membership recognition program. We, in the past have been, giving out plaques and certificates, et cetera. So we essentially have digitized this into a certification platform. It enables us to recognize individuals, particularly who might not be sitting in an office with plaques hanging on the wall, kind of like mine. So we have always in a constant evaluation of membership benefits to continue to drive more value to the members, to position member firms possibly in lower tiers to provide more participation in our webinars and events, providing more recognition for their companies as well as their individuals. Part of our strategic initiatives as a membership was to do the stakeholder engagement research, the strategic initiative is to get to end users, owners, developers, and their consultancy around them. So the owners, reps, design, architecture, consulting firms. So we think most of the membership of folks that are looking to benefit by the growth of this by selling stuff. We're trying to put a keen focus on attracting membership and participation from our targets, folks that we feel are key to growing this, and the folks that are going to be using the technology, understanding its benefits, et cetera. So we've been building a task force to essentially focus on what would interest them in being participating in the membership. Where can we find them? Meaning which like verticals they should be focused on, and then targeting specific content out of the marketing team. Drew will talk to you about that later, and then delivering from the technology team, and then having the marketing team specifically deliver that to our targeted stakeholders. Of course, our natural business is the ongoing recruitment and retention of members. So I gave you the list of folks on the committee who are actively, pursuing this, following up with leads coming from the website and various events that we participate with. But we encourage everybody along that membership, if they see sensible adjacent businesses that could benefit from being part of the membership, I encourage all of you to, try to funnel them our way for recruitment. Next slide. So we've had a pretty good year in 2024 in terms of growth. Welcome BFW Solutions as a platinum member, as well as Interlink Group at bronze. And then Systems Integrated Tech, System Tech is a very accomplished integration firm out west, and Advanced Media Technologies, a distribution firm based down here in Florida. That's it. Thank you. Matt?
All right. Hello, everybody. give you a little update from the Technology Committee. We have a strong list of members, as you can see on the screen here. I do want to take a moment to thank Chad Hines for doing the committee chair responsibilities for the past year. He just handed those over to me a couple of months ago. So thanks to him for his leadership there. Like I said, we do have a nice list of folks here, and I'll introduce you to a few new members as well in just a moment. For those that don't know, the Technology Committee does a number of things to support the board and other committees. As you heard Stefan from the European Committee mention, we support them and some of the efforts they're doing. We also are the ones that work on a lot of the publications and classes that the association delivers. So we'll talk about those right now, actually. So in 2023, we did several webinars. We did a fiber to mixed use complexes in August, and then we did an optical LAN frequently asked question in December. And as you heard, I believe Karen spoke about it earlier, we do now have the AIA certified presentation. So those architects that want to learn more about the technology have a way to do so and earn credits when they are attending that. So that's a great win for everybody to have those available. Now, we started the first one in November, but we now offer that throughout the year. And then looking into 2024, our first webinar of the year was in April. That was the optical LAN connectivity to anything, anywhere. We've continued to do the AIA virtual training like I was talking about. So that offers 2 credits. We've done a number between March and May, but those continue to be on the agenda for the future as well. And then our next webinar that's scheduled is October 16th. That's testing guidance for optical LAN. So that's some new material that we're working on right now. The committee's been actively working on that for the last probably 2 or 3 months with our meetings. And we're just about ready to wrap that up. So good progress there. And as we talked about earlier, we continue to offer the classes at the BICSI conferences. So we do present at both BICSI Fall and BICSI Winter. We've been doing it for over a decade now. It's actually the longest running class that's offered at BICSI at this point. So we've done the fundamentals of passive optical LAN for that decade plus. We also recently introduced the optical LAN implementation and use cases. So for fall, we will be doing the fundamentals. For the winter, we'll submit for both and see if we are able to present both of those again at winter. And thanks to our presenters, besides myself, again, Chad Hines, Chris Ennis, and Scott McIsaac have been helping with those presentations. And we continue to invite others to be involved in that. So if others are interested, please join us in the committee, and we'd be glad to have you as a trainer in there. One other thing we recently introduced was the digital certification. So we started this at the last BICSI conference, and it's a digital way of recognizing those that have attended our classes. It kind of has a twofold benefit in that the attendees are able to be recognized for their attendance in the class and what they've learned, but it also helps out APOLAN because it's getting the word out there that we offer this credit. So it's a digital badge that folks can receive and link to. So like on LinkedIn or in their email signature, they can actually present that badge as something that they've done, and it recognizes us as the ones that presented it to them. So very creative idea. I believe Chris Ennis with Nokia was the one that came up with the idea, and Brianne helped us make it happen. So great stuff there. And then lastly, I wanted to introduce some of our new committee members. Anna Cruz, Brian Schreiber, and Dustin Spear have all joined us over the past year. So we're glad to have them on board. I believe we do have a few more slots. So for those that are interested, feel free to join us. We'd love to have you. And that's it for the Technology Committee. I'll hand it over to Mao Ping He to talk about the Global Task Force.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, good afternoon. This is Mao Ping. I'm the chair of the Global Task Force. It's very good for me as a new member, BFW Solution joining APOLAN this year and also became the chair of a global task force. The team was formed at early May this year, and we have our vice chair, Omar from High Tech Lawful Solution. He's based in Egypt. And also we have our team assistant, Michelle Tarukan from Superior Essex in Dubai. And also thank to Paul as our board liaison help us initiate this meeting, our initial meeting and also team formation. The purpose of the Global Task Force is to provide the APOLAN Board of Directors with a recommendation for maximum engagement of its international association members. We had our charter reviewed. I think it's approved by the board of the director. We discussed some of the recommendations in our initial meeting, such as increase the APOLAN's awareness, reachability, impression, on LinkedIn. We also announced the establishment of GTF on LinkedIn. We like to encourage to publish news and activities of GTF or also our members' activity or conferences over LinkedIn. Also encourage to provide photos of exhibitions mentioning APOLAN, such as Cable X in Egypt 2024, also activities in China. I'm from China. We like to do something to join some of the exhibitions in China and also like to promote APOLAN in this region. We plan to develop some project success stories and share that with all of the members and do some video interviews with members, but those are still under discussion. Since we just formed this team a few months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, we plan to have our regular team meeting scheduled, and on this specific item, I need help on coordinating this, Brian. I hope you can have someone to help me doing this. Next slide. Meanwhile, as Karen just mentioned, I think the optical line really goes very fast, very good or very rapid adoption in this region, in the APAC region. So I'd like to share something we do here as a new member. This year, we already had BFW. We already had 3 big channel conferences in China. 2 of the provinces, Shanghai and Zhejiang province. We did that in April, in May, in June, 3 conferences. Each of them with about 100 or more than 100 guests. Those guests from government, from channel partners, or from design institutions and business enterprises. I think those were very successful conference. We plan to have 1 or more big channel conferences in next 3 months. And we also plan to add the APOLAN logo and also introduction for APOLAN in those coming conferences. Next slide, please. We showed something we did some demonstration on those conference in the past 3 conferences, such as the fiber splicing. The attendees were very interested in learning this stuff. We also did a demonstration to the audiences, such as the OLAN management system. Since the optical line system is relatively new to most of the IT staff, they learn some of the technology, but they want to have a easy management system. So that is why we came out a management system for this region's IT staff. Next slide. Meanwhile, we attended one of the big exhibition in Shanghai, which was Shanghai security related exhibition. at early August. About 20,000 audiences attended that meeting, that exhibition. BFW was rewarded as one of the top surveillance solution provider using optical line technology. After that exhibition, we published an article introduced APOLAN and how POL can benefit the surveillance industry. Those are pictures for this from this exhibition. Next slide. We plan to attend another exhibition at early October in Paris, which is BBWF. We plan to have APOLAN logo and also APOLAN introduction showed on our booth as well. Meanwhile, we try to help find some more new members from this region, from the APAC region. We visited a few companies in past three months. We visited the Baker Singapore office. They asked for special approval. I think we sent the email to Brian because they asked for a special approval to join as a bronze level member because their Singapore branch is a small size entity. That's their desire. Meanwhile, we visited HSGQ, CNFTDD, and CData. Those three companies are in Shenzhen, China, the south part of China. And we plan to visit other 2 to 4 companies in next few months. And we'll try if we could have 5 members from this region in next half year or so. Meanwhile, I'm taking a task for translate the APOLAN white paper into our Mandarin Chinese language. We have our draft edited, and we plan to submit it this month for final review and approval before we publish it. That's my update. With that, I turn it back to Gayla. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. There's certainly a lot going on in the Global Task Force and actually in all of the committees. So thank you to each of our chairs for your accomplishments already completed in 2024. And we look forward to finishing the year strong. So before opening the floor for questions and comments, I would like to highlight APOLAN's upcoming events. To register for any of these upcoming webinars, please visit the website, our website at www.apolanglobal.org. So we have, as we said, the masterclass. If you just go back one more, I'll just kind of to look at what those events are. We have the masterclass in Las Vegas, and then we have 3 webinars. A CALA webinar, a technology one on October 16th, and a marketing one on November 7th. So please encourage all your customers, your other members from your company to join. And with that, I'd like to open it up. So it's a wrap for all our formal presentations, but the floor is now open for questions or comments. Any ideas, any suggestions? You can feel free to type them in the chat or to, I don't know if they're allowed to come off mute and talk, but we'll certainly welcome any comments or questions or suggestions. Do we see anything? I'm not seeing anything so far on my end. Okay, nothing yet. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Emma Fernandez here.
Yes, Emma.
In the CALA committee, we received some feedback from Senko, that is a fiber vendor.
Mm-hmm.
They said they would like to join us, but they prefer if we can do at least one event a year, inviting final customers and industry related to the fiber to that event. But one event just for APOLAN is what they are saying is will be a good driver to them to going as an APOLAN member.
Okay, so an event where the end users and people from the industry.
Exactly.
And is this a virtual event or an in-person event they're looking at?
They prefer person in person because they said all the members can show what they can provide to this ecosystem for both.
Okay. All right. Good suggestion. We'll bring that back to the committee, probably the marketing committee or to the board, and we'll discuss that. Any other comments or questions? You can take yourself off mute or you can type in the question or comment. Thank you, Emma, for speaking up there. Okay, well, I would say let's call it a wrap. If you have, yes, it was recorded. I believe this was recorded. So the link to, yep, it was. So would it be on the APOLAN website, the recording, or how would somebody get this recording? Would it will be sent to people on demand? It will be on the APOLAN website on the on-demand page. So if you go to the website, we have an on-demand link and you will see this members meeting recorded. So please, yes, if somebody from your company wasn't able to attend or you would like to forward it to a partner or to a customer, please do so because, you know, we have a lot going on. And as we said from the beginning with the mission and the vision, etc., our objective really is to spread the word and to really, you know, make this technology known to everybody. So please do share the link. Any other questions? Okay, Karen just put the link to the actual page where this will be put afterwards. So if you see that link in your chat, you can go there, give it a little bit of time to get it uploaded. Any other questions? Thanks, Karen.
Okay, now.
Yes.
This is thank you. So specifically on the GTF team's regular meeting, I couldn't reach Paul. So could someone from the board or from your team, from the organization, help me initiate our regular meeting?
Okay. Yes. I don't quite understand what needs to be done, but we'll sit and take it offline and make sure that if you have anything with the meeting that you need done, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, I would like to thank everybody for being with us today. We really do truly appreciate your membership. And if you're not a member, please do consider joining and look forward to accomplishing the great things together in the year ahead and wishing you a great rest of your day. Thank you very much. Thank you.